Oliver, HSBC has reported its third quarter results this morning, but once again, typically of the banking sector, that it has made more provisions for past misdemeanors, payment protection insurance, money laundering allegations in the US, etc., etc. Is this the end of this particular problem for HSBC here? Because we're now talking about a lot of money here.
We are. It's difficult to tell if it'll be the end. Today they've provided another $1.1 billion. That split for $800 million for money laundering in the US and another $350 million in the UK for payment protection insurance. It's difficult to tell if it's the end of the road on either front. On PPI, claims are still going up. We've seen all the major banks increasing their provisions recently.
Right. Which is the more serious of the two? Is it the US or the UK?
I think the US. I think the money laundering, because it's only 3 months since they last had a provision for this. That was $700 million, and today they provided another $800 million, making $1.5 billion in total. What's surprising is that they thought it was only $700 million 3 months ago. Now that's suddenly gone up to 1.5, and they're very explicit in their statement, saying it might be more still. They're negotiating with 4 different regulatory agencies over this, and it's very unclear as to what the final bill for this will be.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulatory uncertainty, of course, in the entire banking sector. I mean, a lot of the UK banks are reeling from all of these payment protection insurance provisions. There's the LIBOR scandal. There is this allegation of money laundering, and there's a lot of regulatory firepower trained on the banks. So it's really difficult for them to get out from under it. I just wonder whether this is going to lead to any structural change in the banking sector, and what the long-term consequences of all of these allegations will be on the shape of banks.
Well, it's difficult to tell yet. They're all giving the right rhetoric that they're all restructuring, reforming, doing business more ethically. They're all, for the most part, taking their medicine and taking the provisions. And in the round, they're not enormous in the context of the banks.
Yes.
You take Barclays, HSBC's exposure to both the problems in the US and in the UK. Together that's worth about £2.2 billion. So it's very small in the context of the overall bank, but it's the reputational damage that's true across the sector.
Yeah. Now HSBC is a very global bank, as we know, much more global than a lot of the other banks that are being accused here. But I mean, is it actually doing better than its rivals, despite everything else?
It is, despite everything else and all the provisions and all the charges and that kind of thing. It is. It has the advantage of being globally spread. So its operations in Asia are doing well. Its capital position is very strong, meaning that HSBC can carry on lending when other banks are deleveraging, they're cutting their loan books, they're really coming back to their home markets. So from that point of view, HSBC is able to still expand despite the very uncertain economic picture around the world.
Okay, so more results from a big global bank, but more provisions for past misdemeanors. I don't think we've heard the end of this yet. Thanks, Oliver.